This letter is from a mother who has had all the Real Love materials available to her, including those about parenting, for years, which is unusual for most people who are doing the parenting training now. But she has a strong tendency not to complete what she begins. Hardly an uncommon trait. So now she finds herself ill-prepared to raise her 18-month-old child, Eliza. So mother moves frantically from one crisis to another with this child. Again, not uncommon. Rather than actively loving and teaching her daughter in a way that would prepare Eliza for a happier life. So instead of building a life, she's just putting out fires. Not the same thing. Good to put out fires, but it doesn't build anything. Mother writes to me, I seem to have gotten lost in my way with Eliza. I don't know how it happened. Actually, the truth is, you do know how it happened. You've had Real Love videos and writings about life, yourself, relationships, and parenting for years. And notice, no irritation, impatience, criticism in my voice. I'm just saying you do know how it happened because you've had all this, but you've never used any of it with anything even approaching consistency. Again, no criticism, just answering your question as you say, I don't know what happened. You've had the ridiculously effective parenting training for months, but you haven't watched the videos, which can make all this so much easier for you. Turns out that it's not ridiculously effective unless you actually watch the training and implement the principles. You've had plenty of time to do it. I know that. In fact, you have more time on your hands than you have time that parents dream about having, but you don't do it because it's hard. Well, it's different. Parenting this way is actually much easier. Parenting is about preparation, getting sufficient love and guidance so that you know how to love and teach a child in a way that she can then feel loved, loving, and responsible. Parenting is not about solving one crisis after another. That approach never ends and usually worsens over time as the child learns how to create bigger crises that increasingly you don't know how to handle. I strongly suggest that you watch the parenting training for at least an hour every day. You have an hour for other things, exercise, going for walks, playing with Eliza. Take half an hour of your playtime with her and learn how to be a parent. Every week, watch the video answer that comes to you, because one comes every single week. Read the written answer and participate in the conference call. 3 invaluable parenting supports that add immeasurably to the training itself. Even in 45 hours of video in the training, we couldn't possibly learn all we need to know about parenting. If I'd gone on and on with every contingency, it would have been hundreds of hours, which, by the way, by now, it is with the 3 parenting supports. And with all the parenting stuff on the reallove.com site, there is hundreds of hours about parenting that is up on the 2 sites. So far, you haven't made use of those things. Parenting is not magic, where things happen with a spell or a wave of the wand. Parenting can, however, be miraculous, where spectacular results can still happen, like with magic, but only after you have done all you can do. I also suggest that you partner with another parent from the Ridiculously Effective Parenting Facebook group. Share experiences, learn from that person, talk to that person every other day or whatever it takes in the beginning. Try another step. Find another parent outside the group, somebody that you know well enough to say this to, and say this. Just try it. I'm doing this parenting training that is crazy different from everything else I've seen. It puts a bigger responsibility on us as parents because we have to learn to genuinely love and teach our kids. It is not a technique, and it works. I would love to go through the training with someone. Would you be willing to look at it with me? Not complicated, not threatening, not pushing somebody to do something. I found this thing that works. Would you be willing to do it? How could this be a bad thing? I baked a cherry pie. Would you be willing to help me eat it? I personally would. So then you send her, him or her, to realloveparents.com because you need all the assets that you can both find that are already on the site and elsewhere, and all the assets you can create yourself. We need to all just go nuts creating assets and supports for ourselves. If we don't, when the crises come, we're not going to feel enough support. Mom says to me, today was good until it wasn't. And that's the very definition of moving from crisis to crisis. We just hope that things will go well without any preparation on our part. It's what I call fatal optimism. It just doesn't happen like that. We have to prepare before we can have any hope that something good is just going to happen. And then if anything at all happens to disturb the peace when we're not prepared, we're lost. We're lost in the dark. We stumble, we respond badly, and we make things worse as conditions and feelings spiral down the toilet. And you've seen that happen. All of us have. Often in seconds, things go from today was good to today really isn't. Mom says, I came into the kitchen and there was Eliza playing in the dog's food, with food all over her, all over the floor. You know, you've seen the scene. I firmly told her no, but which isn't in the parenting training anywhere. Just say no to the child. But she seemed to think it was some kind of game. She was laughing. Probably laughing at you, because yes, it was a game, but you've never really known how to back up no, or how to really illustrate how a behavior is unacceptable. This is the problem, or a demonstration of the problem. The problem isn't her. It's not an 18-month-old kid. The problem is that you have prepared poorly to be her parent. Again, I emphasize, I'm not criticizing you. I'm simply, you asked me, what do I do? I'm saying, prepare. And you've had plenty of opportunity to, but you haven't. I'm helping you see how to turn around these endless crises and then how you can avoid nearly all of them. If you were dying from cancer and had to follow a strict chemotherapy routine, you would figure out how to make time. When they tell you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, you need to be here for your chemotherapy at 2, you'd be there at 2. Well, but that's her nap time. Too bad. You'd figure something else out. You would. But so far, you're not making consistently the time to learn how to raise a happy child, which is every bit as important as saving your own physical life. You have the responsibility to save her life. You brought her into the world, and now her care is your responsibility. Mom says, I've told her many, many times. Now, when parents say this, they always say it with an intonation of gravity. Many, many times. Or impatience. Many, many times. Not to play in the dog's food. But she keeps doing it. Anytime a parent says to me, I have told him or her many times not to do something, but they do it anyway, the parent is saying this, I have no clue how to love and teach. That's what they're really saying. Many, many times means nothing if you're not loving and teaching. If you're having to repeat yourself, memorize this brief phrase. If you have to keep repeating yourself, nagging is another word for it, what you're doing is not working. Got that? So why keep doing the same unproductive thing? So let's talk about another way to approach a repetitive, unproductive behavior. Not necessarily the way, but a way that has proven to work hundreds of times all over the world. 1, you can't be angry. Ever. If you are, you just sit her down in a seat and say, with a timer or whatever it takes, or a toy, a video, who cares? And you say, I'll be back in X minutes. And you don't come back till you're not angry. And if that means that you talk to one of these people on your support team that you're going to develop, or you go watch some of the parenting video, or you go meditate, or you go pray, or you whatever, no anger. And there's an entire chapter in the parenting training about how to get rid of your anger. So no mystery there either. Second, you look at her, you sit down on the floor, and you talk to her. You're sitting with her this far, and you touch her. She has to be listening, not just you talking. So you say, well, I've told her many, many times. Yeah, and she didn't hear a word of it. No, so this time, you're going to be sitting this far and touching her and talking to her, and she's going to be looking. If she's not looking into your eyes, Donna and I even have this agreement. If you say something to me, I've said, and I'm not looking at you and paying attention to what you're saying, if I'm typing while you're saying something to me, it doesn't count because I won't remember it. You can't multitask. We think we can, but we're really awful at it. We're really just trying to consecutively pay attention fast enough that we get both messages. You don't. So then you ask, 3, what are you doing? Notice, now she's involved, as opposed to you just delivering the usual lecture and her laughing in your face, which you just described her doing. She says, playing with the dog's food. Well, now the two of you are having a discussion as opposed to you delivering another ridiculous lecture. You're not telling her what she's doing, or that it's the 100th time. Foolish things for parents to say. You do not tell her not to play with the dog's food. Don't do it. Why? Because she already knows that. She knows, and you treat her like she doesn't. And because you treat her like she doesn't know, she acts like she doesn't know. Really? You can just see it on her face. Well, gosh, Mother, I did not know that I was not supposed to play with the dog's food, even though I've heard it 100 times. She is more than willing to play this I'm too stupid to be accountable game with you. Only too happy. That's why she was laughing. See? She's telling you the game she's playing. And she can feel that you're lost in guiding her. So she does what she wants. And for those of you who are going, oh, how could a parent be so stupid? Yeah, all of us are that stupid. We all do versions of this. I've told them so many times, well, then you're stupid. And I have been too. 4, you ask, don't tell again. Are you supposed to play with the dog's food? She's involved now. Now she's actually emotionally involved. No. No matter what the age of the child is, their eyes dart around and no. Part of them is trying to pretend like, well, let me think. Allow me to search my data banks. There was that one time you mentioned it. One of 200. No. Then you say, why not? A question again, see? Because it involves her. Notice not, why are you doing this? Don't say that to an 18-month-old or an 18-year-old. Why did you do that? I can go ahead and tell you the answer. If you're genuinely curious, I can tell you the answer ahead of time. I don't know. Why are you standing on your feet instead of your head? I don't know, Mother. They'll go with ignorance every time. So you don't say, why are you doing it? You say, why do we not play with the dog's food? You're teaching responsibility here. Keep going, giving hints if necessary, only if necessary, until she says, because it makes a mess. And it's not my food, which she already knows. She can come up with this. You're nagging her far too much instead of requiring that she tell you what she's doing. And then last, you say, so now we have a mess. Well, actually, not last. It's number 6. There are more. So now we have a mess. What do we do with a mess? And you just sit there. You just wait because she knows the answer. You keep acting like she's stupid, and so you repeat it. We clean it up. Yeah. So you made the mess, so you're giving her a clue. So who is going to clean it up? Because you've already taught her that She gets to make choices, but with choices comes responsibility. Now, can an 18-month-old understand that? Yes. And older children really get it. Responsibility comes along with choice. And so you say, who's going to clean it up? And I can almost promise you the answer will come in the form of a question. Me? They're good at this game. She's clearly better than you. Number 7, you tell her, show me how. See? Show me how. At every step, you're requiring that she be involved. Don't show her how because you've already done that. You already told her how. You've already done it for her. You've already demonstrated it. I know because you and I have been through this before. You've told her and she's done it. She knows how. And to other parents, if your child doesn't know how, you simply tell them. You don't do it for them. She takes the step stool because she's 18 months old. She goes up to the sink, which step stool takes her right up to the level of the sink. You get the wash rags. You have a little bin that you put the wet wash rags and the dry wash rags in. It's a little bin you got already because we know she's going to make messes. Call it your mess bin. I don't care. Have it already. Donna has what are called go bags upstairs so that if anything happened, she's a very prepared person. Anything, if the house burned down, if suddenly there was an evacuation order, if there was a tornado that hit the house, we'd pick up those go bags because they're kept in a really safe, away from tornado places, and we could go stay in the car for, not making this up, a month. She's just ready. Well, you can get ready for an 18-month-old to clean up a mess. Number 8, she will do a lousy job of cleaning up the mess. Not might, she will. So you just patiently keep at it until she's cleaned it. Responsibility. At 18 months old, she can clean it up. It will just take her a while. She won't like it when you say, we're not done, because she'll look at it and go, we're done. We cleaned it up. In other words, there isn't dog food everywhere. There's just less dog food. But she'll learn from it, which is the point of it. Number 9, you tell her to follow you to her room. You set her on her bed. And you tell her that she'll have to stay there until she can come and tell you why you've put her in her room. And you say, think about it. You know. Well, I don't know, Mother. Yeah, she knows. Then she'll either come out or she won't. That's number 10. You have to keep going, possibly in and out of the room, you and her, possibly her staying there for a while. She might end up sleeping there until she can say that if we break the rules of the house, where everybody in the house, their goal is to be happy. We don't get to stay out where the happy people are when we're being irresponsible or angry or grouchy or whatever. We have to stay by ourselves until we remember. Now, if she manages to remember in 3 seconds of being in a room, then you're done. There's no punishment to this. There's no tone. Not punishment. It's not about staying in the room. It's about, we live in a house of order. We live in a house of happiness and keeping rules. If you want to be part of that happiness, then you need to keep the rules. And if you fail to keep the rules, then you need to describe what you did. Notice how much we're involving this 18-month-old. She can do it. And if she can do it at 18 months old, all of your kids can do it who are 12 and 15. Mom says, after dinner, we went to the bathroom, took a bath, but then she wouldn't sit still while I was drying and brushing her hair. So I stopped the music that was playing. One of the consequences that I use, because she loves music, hallelujah, honey, you did it. You did a consequence. Good. She knows she's supposed to sit still while getting dried off and getting her hair brushed. If words aren't working, and they clearly weren't, immediate consequences are the appropriate teaching tool. An immediate consequence. You don't need to beat her bloody. You just turn off the music and she goes, oh, something happened as a result of my acting up. And will keep happening if you keep acting up. Mom says, but stopping the music didn't help her stop wiggling and playing. Right, because she knows it's the game to play with you. She knows that your consequences are absolutely inconsistent. They come, sometimes they don't, other times she's willing to take the bet. So you say, I held her pretty firmly on my lap, which is just a form of, kidnapping, and combed her hair, but she kept playing and getting into things. So I pretty forcefully No loving and teaching here. Pulled her away a few times and sat her down, and she laughs like it's a game, because it is. Now, everybody who's listening, keep in mind, I know this mother well, so I'm not guessing at what I'm saying. Here's a huge problem that you need to see in Eliza, or she'll be manipulating people with it for the rest of her life. Lots of kids learn this. When she plays and sings to music and acts all cute, which she's very good at doing, I've seen her do it, you smile and laugh and play with her. Now, that can be wonderful. I mean, I actually prescribe that for many parents. It's fun. It's also a perfect illustration of how a particular behavior can be good in one place and not in another. So playing and laughing with her is really great in some circumstances, but you tend to play and laugh with her when she's diverting your attention from the fact that she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. Like driving a car is good, on the road and with rules. Not so good if you drive the car through somebody else's house. Eliza isn't just playing with you. She's playing you, as in using you. She plays you like a musical instrument, honey, and she's good. I mean, she's concert good. You are so obviously entertained. You smile and you laugh when she plays around and sings and dances that she uses it to get her way, not consciously. She ignores what she's supposed to do and distracts you with cuteness and playing around. And you don't finally impose a consequence until you're tired of her cuteness and playing around. Well, by then, she's already manipulated you with it. So now, when you get annoyed, she's going, what's wrong with this stupid woman? I mean, she was having fun with me, and now she's angry at me because I'm playing around. It confuses her. From the outside, it looks fun. But this kid is creating her own little world where she's in charge. And we want kids to know who they are. We want them to be individuals. But when things have to get done, they're not in charge. They're not in charge of bedtime. And this isn't going to work if she keeps doing it, because she needs a mother. She's not prepared to be the boss of her own world. She's not ready for it. Not at 18 months, usually not at 16 years. She needs a mother who will teach her life and how to be happy in all circumstances, not just goofing and playing. It's become a game because you're not consistent. Consistent is gravity. You don't act like you know what you're doing. I've seen you parent her. You don't look confident, and she knows it. So she runs her own world, which is very dangerous. So what do I recommend? Continue the parenting training, an hour every day. No kidding. Not just when you feel like it or when you, quote, have time, because that just means you're bored and there's absolutely nothing else to do. You respond to her every time she does what she knows is wrong. Every time. You can't let any of them go. First, ask her what she's doing. This is just a summary of what we talked about before. Require her to say why it's not the right thing. If she does the same thing one more time, you don't teach again. You just immediately apply a consequence. If it's a pattern, you skip the teaching. You don't even bother to teach if she just keeps doing a thing, because you already know she knows. Go right to the consequences, like playing after bath time. There's no more talking about bath time. You've had this discussion 100 times. No, consequence. And then then you create play between you so that she feels more connected to you. You play when it's time to play, but not when it's time to go to bed or eat dinner or whatever. And you have to make consequences unpleasant enough. So earlier, when you said you took away the music and that didn't help, but then you held her firmly and combed her hair, that doesn't work. That's force. You're just bigger. For one thing, you failed to teach. Then you came back with pure force, holding her firmly, and force isn't how we parent. So instead, what do? The second that taking away the music doesn't work, I mean, if she doesn't stop within 5 seconds of the music stopping, she can hear it stopped. She likes the music. She knows what that means, that it's a consequence. Then you just put her in bed. You just pick her up right in the middle of what you're doing, and you put her in bed in whatever condition she's in and say, I'll see you in the morning. Pleasant. Do you hear this? I'll see you in the morning. That means, and you explain this to her beforehand, this is what's going to happen. There will be no more bedtime routine because you didn't do what you told her to do. She didn't do what you told her to do. No story, no kissing, no whatever you do. If her hair is still wet, too bad. It won't kill her. Consequences have to be unpleasant. You put her to bed with wet hair. Nobody dies from that. You have to be firm, unyielding, like gravity. When we're about to fall off a ladder 30 feet to our death, gravity doesn't go, oh, give him a pass. He didn't mean to do that. Never. And she needs to know that you're gravity. Mom says, I have to get her dressed for bed. After she's done all that fussing and she's acted up and bedtime is long past. No, you don't. You don't have to get her dressed. Not if she misbehaves after reminding her about her behavior or asking her what it is and doing a consequence like turning off the music. No, if she continues after one consequence, that's not working. Remember we said if you have to repeat a thing, it's not working. So you increase the price, put her in bed, give her a blanket, done by. Now, the first time you do that, she will scream bloody murder like you've killed her. Why? Because she's learned she can manipulate you. But if you give in, she'll just learn that getting her way, this is how it sinks into a child. Not consciously, but they're very quick at the pattern. She's learned that, okay, now if I want to get my way, first I fool around. And if that doesn't work, then I ignore the consequence. And if that doesn't work, I scream bloody murder, and then mom will give in. Dang, the kids learned this pattern very early in life, and it gets worse and worse. Then in the morning, you remind her why she had to go to bed without routine. Actually, you don't remind her. You ask her. So why did you go to bed with wet hair? Your hair looks like it wasn't brushed. Just as calmly and casually as that. Your hair looks unusually unbrushed. You ask her. She'll know. Parenting can be tough because it's unrelenting. But you have to do it. It's not harsh. It's harsh not to love and teach. It's harsh not to teach them the school of life, because if you don't teach it, later life will, and life is merciless. So it's an enormous blessing to her when you impose consequences and you make her realize there are certain ways we don't get to behave. You can do it, kid. We can all do it. If there are some of you who are thinking, well, I don't have an 18-month-old. Oh, your older kids do most of what this child does, just in different ways. This is a lesson that applies to every parent. We can do it.